Hiya, friends. I'm Eshkalar, the world's greatest Canadian wizard, and this is an Eshkalar Longs. You know, everybody's doing shorts these days. Well, I don't look good in shorts, so I'm going to do Eshkalar Longs instead. Pants all the way to the floor. Today, I want to talk about the most important issue facing all human beings today: understanding professional wrestling. It's more important than hockey, ain't it? Oh, I think so. More teeth lost in pro wrestling than there are all through hockey throughout the ages. It started out as a combat sport. What do you do in Canada when you hate somebody? Well, you hit them with a stick. There's probably ice in the way. Hockey, like Scots, what do you do when you don't like somebody? You hit them with a stick. So golf, if you don't see the parallels, maybe the weed is as good as my dealer says. so today I want to talk about the most fundamental concept in wrestling, pro wrestling. It's called the heel. You got to have a bad guy, and then you got to have a good guy to get the fans behind, right? So people are cheering because the bad guy's doing bad things to the good guy. It doesn't matter if the good guy's really doing anything good. It just matters that we are polarized to see bad guy does bad things to this guy. And then we hope that guy gets revenge on the bad guy. So the bad guy is the heel. Ric Flair, one of the world's greatest heels. There have been others. Some of them are better for their athletic ability. Some of them are better for their ability to command the microphone. Right? Yeah. Ooh, yeah. So, the question often comes up in wrestling: who is the greatest heel of all time? I know the answer to this, but everybody's got an opinion. Bruce has got an opinion. James has got an opinion, right? All the interviewers got an opinion because they do those interview shows just so they can bounce their own ideas off the guys who would know. So, who was the greatest heel in all wrestling? Was it the man that was the most irritating person to have between you and the match, Jimmy the Mouth of the South Heart? What a talent. From what I hear about him, he's one of the great talents of all time. Literally, one of the great talents of all time. If you wanted to have someone write your entrance music and people remember your entrance music, Jimmy Hart. If you wanted somebody to design the airbrushing on your van so that everybody knew it was Bam Bam Bigelow or whoever you were, right? Al Snow, the Blue Meanie. You go to Jimmy Hart and he would, everything he did seems like, of course we only see the top of it, but seems like it was magic. Wow, what a talented guy. And what an irritating little man dancing around with a megaphone. Hey baby, you're like, hey, get out of the way, I want to watch the match. So he was a heel too. The heel messes with people. The heel turns your perception sideways a little. So you're like, wait, what? Dutch Mantel was doing that very good with We the People Eaters, you know, and turning your perception as a patriotic nation on its side, which is supposed to be entertaining. That's what I do, and I'm entertaining. So maybe Dutch could be a little entertaining too, but he's still not the greatest heel who ever lived. Jim Cornette, probably one of the 5 best men in front of a microphone in all of human history, is not the greatest heel of all time, but he's way up on the list. Paul Heyman, so brilliant. Oh my goodness, so amoral. Paul. But he's not the greatest heel of all time. So, Eshkalar, you better define what a heel is. If you're saying this guy that you're thinking of, this whoever it is, this entity, is a greater heel than Paul Heyman, or Jim Cornette, or Jimmy Hart, or Eddie Guerrero. So, I'm going to explain why by describing what a heel is and what a heel does. A heel's purpose is to generate heat. That heat is your anger at him for just being. I hate this guy. I hate the way he walked down to the ring. I hate the way he dropped his cape I hate the way he took off his wrist protectors and threw them out into the crowd like they were keepsakes. I hate the way he ignored me when I tried to shake his hand on the way by. I hate his introduction. Oh, you fat, ugly Americans out there. Oh, I hated that guy already. Right? Iran number one, America hawk toy. Oh, you want, you just, I wanted to step on that guy's pointy shoes. But even the Iron Sheik wasn't the greatest heel. Even JBL wasn't the greatest heel. JBL is more of the definition of a heel that I'm going to bring to you than many of these other talents I'm going to mention are. Jim Cornette would be a heel because it was part of the show and because of an essential quality of a gimmick. A gimmick is who you are in front of the camera. Everybody's a different person in front of the camera than who they are when they're off the camera. Because the camera's like a drug. When it shines on you, it's like sugar to a kid. So your gimmick, Eshkalar. The best gimmick, as Jim Cornette said, and I very much agree, is yourself on steroids. So Randy Savage. That was Randy Savage. Just a little tweak. He didn't have to put it on. He was that guy. You don't have to put it on if you are that guy. If you're larger than life to begin with, it doesn't even matter if your name's Puffo. You know, you're still the most macho man in the world because you says so. Now, the qualities of a heel. A heel must be able to generate heat. That heat makes you cheer the baby face, cheer the good guy when he starts getting finally revenge on the heel. Oh, get him. No, don't stop with that. Bounce him off the ropes. Clothesline that sucker. I want to see him go 360. Right? Hit him with the belt. Kill the ump. We're monkeys. We're apes. You know, same deal. Except apes have more interesting sports entertainment. So, if you can grab a large crowd and make them hate you, you're a heel. If you do it on purpose to a point, you're a great worker. Paul Heyman, Jim Cornette, great workers. But they aren't the greatest heels. They are still thinking small. And I'm talking about two men that are certainly genius-level thinkers. Paul Heyman, perhaps the best man on the microphone of all time. Paul, I saw you in Rollerball. So anyway. But they're not the greatest heels. Because the heel has to generate heat, and they can generate heat inside the wrestling industry. It's a big business. Vince McMahon has tricked us out to believe it's $1 billion business. Now he's trying to trick us out to believe he didn't really have all that much money because he doesn't want the IRS and people to come looking for him as he seeks to divest himself of his personal involvement in those businesses while still retaining all the money he made from it. But now it's not protected by corporate lawyers. So anyway, sorry, just off the top of my head stuff. But so even Vince McMahon isn't the greatest heel, and he is very close because he generated heat in Congress. Huh? Now you see what I'm getting at? Cornette doesn't generate heat in Congress. Paul Heyman, I do not respect any man more as a master of the microphone and swaying crowds than Paul Heyman. If he was going to run for president, I would vote for him simply because it's Paul Heyman. Knowing he's amoral, I would still vote for him because I feel I know Paul Heyman. Because he's one of the great heels. He makes me mad. He knows he's doing it. He's doing it on purpose, and I know he's doing it on purpose, and I still can't stop it from working because he's that smooth. Wow. And Paul, you're still not the greatest heel. You didn't make Congress. So Vince beats both you guys, my faves, Paul and James. Beats you both because he generated heat in Congress, like Mark Zuckerberg. Whoa. So he was on a whole nother level, as I could say if I had all my teeth, which I don't. So, who's greater than they are? The width and the breadth of the heat you generate, the amount of negative energy that you receive from people hoping to see you get yours. There's only one person that's there. That's not the ultimate warrior. I've heard people are supposedly responsible broadcasters saying, "Yeah, he's the first person in history that ever changed his name to warrior." Eddie Guerrero. Do you know what Guerrero means in Spanish? People have been calling themselves warrior for years. Old people. We're boring, but we know stuff. So anyway. Oh, the guys that I'm joking about here are better looking than me, better paid than me, better laid than me. And watching the interviews, they apparently are passing out a little bit of Bolivian marching powder. And so, yeah, they got everything that I don't got in entertainment. All I got is me. I don't need the other stuff. I'm that good. So anyway, what's a heel do? I've just explained it. He makes you mad. He makes you, the audience, mad at him so that you want to see him come down. We see that in our national politics. People are being heels. They're not governing countries. They're being heels and baby faces. Heels to one crowd, baby faces to another. Even they're not the greatest heels. Even the presidents you don't like aren't the greatest heels. How could that be any bigger than that? Let me explain what it takes to be the greatest heel who ever lived. And he ain't pretty, but he used to be. And he ain't built, but he used to be. And he ain't a serious physical performer, but he was once upon a time. Thank you for your service, sir, even though you're a heel. Jesse the Body Ventura. Because Jesse was not only the bad wrestler, the evil wrestler, the heel, but he was also a great heel commentator on the microphone. He and Vince McMahon had they hated each other, I think. But at any rate, they got along very well on the mic. They had a simpatico that worked, each biting the other a little bit as they went on, developing the pattern for modern wrestling commentating. Vince McMahon is one of the great speakers on the mic. Maybe not as good as Paul Heyman, but deeper. That's scary, to be deeper than Paul Heyman. So anyway, but Jesse the Body Ventura, governor, right, of Wisconsin, I think, right? And some people loved him there and some people hated him there. So he had not only the television audience around America, 60 million people, hating his guts, wanting to see the good guy, right? Tito Santana, I want to see Tito. Chico Santana, oh, Jesse make us so mad. And Vince made Vince out to be the good guy, even though Vince wasn't a good guy. You look at it this way. Jesse the Body was so ugly, he made Vince look pretty. And Jesse was the better looking, the better built, unbelievable. And he wasn't a mover and a shaker in those days. He was merely an entertainer, a very good one. Ex-Navy SEAL, most interesting man, yeah? A professional wrestler, entertainer. That means you have to experience everything high and low in entertainment to be a professional wrestler, to have any experience at it. You know, if you haven't been leg sweeped by Inoki or Giant Baba or, you know, who are you? So anyway, but Jesse was a wrestling heel in the ring. He was a wrestling heel on the mic, and everybody in America had any interest in pro wrestling knew who Jesse the Body Ventura was. Probably could recognize him better than Hulk Hogan, because Jess was so iconic. Hulk needed his size. Jess did not. So, When Jesse fell out of relevance as a wrestler, he then went into politics, among other things. But politics, eventually he rose to the top and became the governor of Wisconsin. That's almost like Canada. I salute you, sir. Oh, Wisconsin, you make the world's best cheese. So, see, stuff writes itself. Anyway, but Jess, you made half the Congress hate you. You made half of Wisconsin hate you. And you already had 60 million people across America still wishing that you got in the ring one more time with Hulk Hogan to watch him put the paste in on you, right? Drop the leg. Yeah. Arm drag takedown. Arm drag takedown. Hip toss. Bulldog. 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Baron von Raschke goes down again to Bruno Sammartino, Pittsburgh's greatest hero ever. Well, maybe Bill Evans, but still, you get the idea. So, Jesse then went on Russia Today, which is an official propaganda arm of the Russian government. It's the modern equivalent of Pravda or Izvestia. Pravda means truth. Izvestia means news. And the Russians used to say there's no Pravda in Izvestia and no Izvestia in Pravda, which means there's no truth in news and no news in truth. And isn't that what we see all around us today? See, Russians can be smart. Yeah, they can. It would do us a lot of good to realize that, see that some of what we see in our own country is Russian money destabilizing us. The same way we're doing to them, and we're doing a little better, but we don't like to see them doing it to us. Yeah. So anyway, Jesse then went on Russia Today and started pointing out all America's flaws, real and imagined, because a heel's got to be able to work the crowd. That's an old carnival term, which means you get the crowd into a frenzy. You get the crowd happy when the ringmaster wants them happy, and you get them sad when the ringmaster wants them sad. And that's how you make a show. It's an emotional roller coaster. Sorry from your perspective, but that's the way. Unless you're a counter thinker, and then I can't. We control the vertical, we control the horizontal. Just trust us. So anyway, but Jess broadcast to all of America and really all the world through Russia Today, which is an official propaganda arm of the Russian government, and pointed out America's flaws, real and imagined. That made him a heel to just about half the world. 4 billion people. Out of those 4 billion, many of them know what pro wrestling is. Many countries have a very, very honored pro wrestling tradition, as weird as those two concepts are in juxtaposition. But yeah. There was a time, and who knows, it may come again, when crowds used to mob the bad guys, the heels. String them up, man, he beat up Tito Santana, he can't get away with that, not here, not in Nashville. Bret Hart was just denied the belt in Montreal. We're going to war with you, America. You faithful Canadians may now eat the sandwich. If you don't know why that's funny. We should talk. So, Jesse the Body Ventura is the greatest heel of all time. A considerable portion of half the world knows who Russia is and knows who America is, and know that they are two separate systems that are opposed one to the other. Yes? No? I think so. Even an increasingly strange America, increasingly, I don't want to use the word fascistic, it's unfair, but certainly in America there's more concern now with rhetoric than with deeds of goodness and kindness, right? Bellicose rhetoric is a big deal now. But helping the world fix all its wounds is not such a big deal because it doesn't profit billionaires very well, and they're the ones that support governments. Yes, no? Yes. You should look up the concept of democracy as it was practiced in Athens So that is the core definition of democracy, and only the wealthy had a vote. That's why our system, broken as it is so much better. Because when the wealthy are the only ones that have the vote, the country's the shits. Because they are so unable to understand how to make anything work except their own greed. They're way too specialized. They don't know how to let go. So anyway, so Jesse the Body Ventura is the greatest heel who ever lived. Half the country hates America. I'm sorry, true. If you watch the conservative media, but anyway, half the world hates Jesse the Body Ventura because half the world hates Russia, and here's Jesse the Body Ventura siding with Russia against the good old United States America. I've been there. I like it. The cigarettes are so much better than Canada. Oh, golly. If any of you guys out there ever smoked an Export A, you wonder why the average age of death in Canada isn't lower. Oh, yeah. They look like Marlboros. You think they're going to be Marlboros. You get one in your mouth and you're thinking, what the So anyway, I just wanted to point out to you guys what the heel was. In the good cop, bad cop, they're the bad cop. And in wrestling, it's the bad guy. The guy you want to see get his comeuppance. Right? So for some of us, that's Vince. Just kidding. Just kidding, world's most powerful liar. Anyway. So, but Jess has beaten Vince too. Vince has only generated heat at the congressional level, the national level. Jesse the Body Ventura has generated heat across the globe in half of the population of the world. Because everyone is polarized in the conflict between the two systems, the Russian system and the United States of America system. Now, for those of you that don't get it, when you say America, you're missing the point, because there's a good bit of Mexico in America, and there's also a good bit of Canada in America, and as a Canadian, I am just as American as you. That make you a little pissed at me? I'm generating heat. How's that? That's being a heel. Jesse the Body Ventura is the best heel who ever lived. And he's not as smart as Paul Heyman, and he's not as good on the mic as even Vince McMahon anymore. But you know what? Oh my goodness, does he make you mad, because he supports Russia against the United States of America, and he makes sense while he's doing it, the bastard. So, I want to leave you guys with one final thought. Jesse the Body Ventura was an honorably discharged veteran of the United States military. He served us well. He has done his job. What he decided to do after that is his business, as long as he's not a traitor. And he's not. He's just a guy that found a soapbox, and he has become the world's greatest heel. I salute you, Jess. I ain't a bad heel myself when I put my mind to it, but you have exceeded me, sir. This is Eshkalar, signing off. You have to do that with 3 hands. 8 and... Oh, I think I heard you.